downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
High school football is back, but guess what? We need more referees. There's a constant need for qualified individuals to work our high school football game. Please consider becoming a football official. Go to pnfoa.com to sign up today. That's pnfoa.com to sign up today. This is a message brought to you by Rainier Avenue Radio App, your home for Metro High School football.
Yo, what's good? It's D-Money, and you should definitely check out Fresh Juice every Wednesday, 9 to 11 Pacific, right on Rainier Avenue Radio.
With pint-sized Patron, P-Treasy to Don. Y'all be sure to clean your mirrors as we play brand new hip-hop and R&B from locals and worldwide.
It's ID Yourself, a.k.a. Malcolm Flex. Make sure you check out Fresh Juice every Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time from 9 to 11 p.m.
And to get those exclusive interviews that we be doing.
Sipping a brand new fresh juice every single week.
Yeah. Every Wednesday, 9 to 11, Rainier Avenue Radio.
Yeah.
Phil-Am Radio, servicing the Filipino and Filipino Americans all over the world. Phil-Am Radio, streaming live in the internet every Tuesday from 1 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. Seattle, USA time. We are your host, Kuya Bert Kawili, Emma Heron, and
Manny Panganiban.
Phil-Am Radio.
November is American Indian Heritage Month, so please join Rainier Avenue Radio.world to celebrate all month long the history, the contributions, and the accomplishments of our first Americans. Again, please stay tuned to Rainier Avenue Radio.world to celebrate and honor American Indians during American Indian Heritage Month.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
I will let James play a little bit. Oh, keep it up. No. Welcome to Monday Night Sports. I am Rick Dupe. That's how I'm probably better known on Rainier Avenue Radio. And thanks for joining us here for another edition of Monday Night Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. You know, it's always fun to do the show when you have a Seahawks win. And we're going to talk a little bit about the win, hear from a couple of the players, and just kind of chop it up a little bit and give you our take in the Seahawks going into a bye week. So that's always a good thing. Give you time to get healthy. And, you know, I've got to do a little bit more research, but I haven't seen a timeline, and maybe you have, on when Russell Wilson is expected back. I know initially they were saying he was ahead of schedule with the at least the flexibility, the mobility of the finger. But obviously anytime you have surgery, you've got to give it time to heal. And that's the most important thing. And obviously one of the more frustrating things as well with an injury like that. He can, he can run, he can do everything. But again, that's his throwing hand. And if it would have been his left hand, different story, but unfortunately the throwing hand. So with that, we will see what happens, but a big win last night. Also, a couple of other things I want to just remind you of, and then we will get into the Seahawks, but big weekend of prep football right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Friday night, 5 o'clock, you can hear Auburn and O'Day right here. They're playing at Memorial Stadium. You can hear it and see it right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. And of course, you can always see the stream. Go to Rainier Avenue Radio, our page on either YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, and you can see the action. And then Saturday, we're bringing you a double header, if I'm not mistaken, and that will be 2 o'clock, Ferndale and Garfield. That game at Memorial Stadium as well. And then the game following that, Snohomish and Rainier Beach at 5 o'clock. So a big weekend of Metro League football, playoff football right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. It's week number 10, and these are the districts. And, Metro League being as big as it is, obviously, and they have a number of teams advance into the districts. But O'Day, Rainier Beach, Garfield, three of the better teams. And Rainier Beach and Garfield, on the season, Rainier Beach is 4-3, 3-2 in league play. Garfield finished up 5-3, but only 2-3 in league play. But both of those teams better than their records show. And I think they may make some noise in the districts and in the playoffs. And O'Day, come on, that is always the case. Eastside Catholic as well, strong. So a lot of strong teams coming out of the Metro League and representing the Metro in the state playoffs. So that is coming up right here on Rainier Avenue Radio Friday and Saturday. So make sure to keep it tuned here for that. Also, one other thing before I get into the Seahawks, it's always fun to look at the day in sports history on November 1st and a couple of things. In 1946, the NBA's first game. Did you know that? I'll give you more details. 1959, Jim Brown scores 5 touchdowns. And then in 1964, on this day, he became the first player to rush for 10,000 career yards. And in 1997, remember Tom Osborne, the coach of Nebraska? He got to 250 wins faster than any coach at that time in college football history. And in 2000, Pat Riley, Pat Riley, the man. Pat Riley always clean, had the hair slicked back. Probably only one other coach, in my opinion, that rivaled Pat Riley in terms of just his dress, and that is a guy who was here, Bob Hill, one of my favorites. You've heard him here on Rainier Avenue Radio before. Got to get him back on. It's been a while, but Bob is a dresser. But Pat Riley earned his 1,000th coaching victory. And that was in 2000. So just a couple of, little tidbits in, on November 1st in history. And again, in 1964, when Jim Brown became the first player to rush for more than 10,000 yards in a career, he rushed for 149 yards on that date in that game. I'm kind of looking through, the NBA's first game in 1946. It was known as the Basketball Association of America, and the New York Knickerbockers, the New York Knicks, beat Toronto 68-66 in that game. And so, that was the first for the NBA. And it's interesting, the NBA, really struggled. And if you remember, and I remember this, I was in high school, and I remember that this championship game, NCAA championship game, Indiana State and Michigan State, and a guy named Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. But those guys revolutionized, the NBA. And then obviously Michael Jordan coming in. As I said, 1959, Jim Brown scored 5 touchdowns in a win for the Browns in that game. It was a 38-31 win over the Baltimore Colts. And then in 64, Jim Brown became the first player to rush for 10,000 yards in a career. He had 149 yards in that game. They won 30-17 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he had 10,135 yards in 47 games. And 47 games of 100 or more yards rushing. Jim Brown was, it's interesting because when I think about Jim Brown, and, my dad used to tell me stories, and I've shared this before, but he said, they would know, they being the opponent, would know that Jim Brown was getting the ball. Jim Brown would come to the line and say, I'm coming your way. And they still couldn't stop him. Just absolutely incredible. And then Jim Brown also, and I didn't know much about growing up lacrosse. I mean, we didn't play lacrosse much, especially in public schools here in Seattle. But it's obviously gotten much bigger. But Jim Brown, All-American lacrosse player at Syracuse as well. A couple of other quick tidbits on November 1, then I want to get into the Seahawks game. But Drew Brees passed for 505 yards a career, has 7 touchdowns on November 1st, 2015. And also in 2015, Simone Biles won gold. Her gold medals number 9 and number 10 at the World Championships. And what an incredible athlete. And for anybody that had an issue with her this year as she took care of herself and making sure her mental health was intact. At the Olympics, anyone that tried to say that she wasn't tough or whatever the case may be, you just don't know what you're talking about, and you haven't competed at that level to understand. Anyway, with that said, Seahawks big win over yeah, okay, Jacksonville Jaguars and Jacksonville, 1-6. So, but here's the thing, you got to win the games that you got to win, and the Seahawks came out and put on an impressive performance. And here's the thing, Seahawks, we've seen it, both. Last year, we as they started off slowly in terms of the defense was just really, really struggling, but they really seem to be getting on the right track. And if they can pull things together and hold it together until Russell Wilson comes back, and I take my hat off to Geno Smith. I mentioned, guy made some errors, some tough plays in the losses, but he really came to play, and we're going to hear from him. Got a nice part of his post-game interview. But you can go ahead full screen with that, Daniel, if you want. People don't need to see my face; they can see the highlights. Thanks. And Geno Smith, I've just been really, really impressed with him, and that guy right there, Alex Collins. I'm a huge Alex Collins fan. I think that Seahawks have a great guy that can get the job done, and they've got it done by committee. But again, establishing that run, and then come on, when you got guys like, again, that guy right there, come on, look at Tyler Lockett. It's just, he just gets it done, and then also what can you say about DK Metcalf? But there's Alex Collins, and hey, finding his way in. But anyway, with that said, though, looking at I'm not a big numbers guy, but I do want to just point this out. Overall, and I'm looking from the defensive standpoint. Defense held Jacksonville to 309 yards and only 82 on the ground, 4.2 per play, and yeah, you'd like that to be under 4.2, but still that's a pretty good defensive day. It really is. And held Jacksonville to only 5 of 14 on third down efficiency. So that's really important. That's really, really important. But again, Geno Smith is a guy where he's been a backup majority of his career, but he tell you what, he's the kind of guy in my mind. And he talks about feeling more comfortable and getting more reps. Obviously, in anything you get more reps, you're gonna do better, and he certainly showed that. A couple other things on the numbers, and then I want to we'll play his interview. I just took a portion of his post-game interview, but again, I really like this guy, and the reason I like him, he's 31 years old. Geno Smith's a big guy. He's like 6'3", 220, but he's got a good perspective and he's a good team player, and he appreciates where he's at, appreciates the opportunity here, and a guy that is a perfect backup, perfect backup. Offensively, real quickly, I just want to look throughout the Seahawks numbers. Geno Smith was 20 of 24, 195 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. That's huge. And, he and Tyler Lockett, he talked about, they took some time really to work on their timing. But Tyler Lockett, 12 catches for 142. DK, 2 touchdowns on 6 catches. Not a whole lot of yards, 43 yards. But tell you what, man, that first touchdown in particular. There's only one way I can describe DK Metcalf, and he's a man. And by that, I should say he's the man, because dude is just, he is, as a defensive back, that would be one of my worst nightmares, coming up against a guy like that. Anyway, you're listening to Monday Night Sports. I'm Dupe, Rick Dupree, and Daniel. Let's go to the Geno Smith soundbite, and I want you to hear a little bit of his post-game comments and coming away with his first win in the starting lineup.
No, you're not lying, man. A couple times, DN called me today. I wasn't expecting that. Back in the day, I might have got away. So he gets upset, but short man complex. That's how that works.
What did today mean to win as a starter in the NFL again for you personally?
Honestly, it just meant a lot for the team, for the fans. It's not about me. I said that from the beginning. I'm out there just doing my job and, trying to put us in the best position to win. So, the fans were amazing today. On Halloween, they came out. They were in full effect, had the costumes on, and it was great to get a win.
I know it's not about you, but your teammates in the last today, really, they've told us that they really wanted to support you and to rally around you as you try to figure it out and get this first win. What has it meant to you to feel their support since you became the starter here?
You know, honestly, they've been supportive since the day I got here. You know, I said that the team embraced me, the city has embraced me, and it's honestly refreshing. You know, it's really refreshing, man. Just, you know, with the history I've had and, you know, having gone to, you know, 2 and 3 teams, just to have somewhere to settle in and to, you know, really work and just get to know everybody, it's really refreshing. So, you know, just having teammates these guys are tremendous in this locker room, win, lose, or draw. We stick together. We always play together. We always play to win. And, you know, we got to win today. But just having those teammates like that, man, it just, you know, it makes you want to do the right thing and always try and get the win.
In the moment, were you aware that you had completed your first 14 passes?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I mean, I always count. You know, I'm always counting in my head. That's just kind of how I play the game. I've always played like that. You know, I always count. You want to complete every single ball. You know, that's the reality. Coach calls a pass, and I want to complete it badly. And some you got to throw away, you know, just because you're doing the right thing. But reality is, it's in my head. You know, even in practice, I'm counting. You know, trying to make sure that I'm completing the majority of my passes.
So did you know by the end of the game, even without having to look, that you had completed 20?
No, I don't have to look up. I literally count in my head and I keep track of them.
So when you're rolling out there 14 for 14, and they just spent the week yelling at you for taking a sack in the field goal range, I mean, are you thinking, well, here goes the streak, I got to throw it away? Are you doing that?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's doing the right thing. You know, honestly, it's doing the right thing. I'll throw it away if it was 28 for 28 because that's what it takes to win. So, you know, and that's something I need to improve on, you know, from last week. You know, took some sacks in some critical situations and I had to get the ball away. And so that was the emphasis this week is, you know, throwing the ball away if you got in trouble. And, you know, I was able to do that a few times.
How different was this game plan compared to Monday night and the wind and rain and all that?
You know, I think it was a lot different. It had to be. I mean, you know, people don't want to take account for the wind and rain, but, I mean, it was real out there. You know, you can't just go out there and try to, you know, fling the ball all over the place. You know, that's not realistic. So today we had a great day, you know, great weather day, and, you know, we were able to get our calls off early. We were able to be aggressive. The pass to Tyler was beautiful. Great call by Shane. And, you know, we were just aggressive at the beginning of the game, and we stayed on it and pushed the tempo. And you can see how it really affected those guys.
Like you really had a
goal of the one you had been stoned by 3 running plays. The call. Did you make the call on the sneak, or how did the conversation go with you and Shane?
Yeah, that was the play call, and I was just signaling for us to go for it. You know, we had gotten down there. I think it was critical for us to get 7 in that situation, not settle for 3. And, you know, when you put the ball, you know, in the quarterback's hands, you know, it's our job to get in the end zone. So I just felt like I could dive over and was able to get that done.
You and Tyler seemed to really have it going, especially in the first half. What was working so well with that connection?
I think just the more repetition that we've gotten over the past 3 weeks, I've gotten to learn how he runs routes and how he gets to certain spots. And so just repetition. That was the main thing, is just the repetition that we gotten. We spent a ton of time after practice together, me and Tyler, and it paid off, really.
Obviously, not too many guys built like DK in the NFL. What are you thinking of the first touchdown pass there at the corner? Just wanted to give him a shot.
Yeah, just give him a chance, man. Give that guy a chance. He makes some amazing catches, amazing plays. I mean, he's phenomenal. Great player, going to be a great player for a long time. So anytime you got a one-on-one with a guy like that, you just give him a chance.
You expect Shaq to shout at him as much as he did?
Well, yeah, of course. Shaq's a great corner, and they rely on him to shut down number 1 receivers. He's been doing a great job all year, and that's a matchup we've seen in practice for the last couple of years. So, you know, we knew that was going to happen. So, we just had to make sure that we were aggressive.
You met up with Shaq at midfield after the game.
Yeah, it's always good vibes, man. Another Florida boy, man. Just, you know, always good vibes. And Shaq's a great player, like I said. You know, he was battling out there. He was doing his thing, and you know, we just got the best of him a few times.
How much more comfortable have you felt each week, considering the rest that you had leading into your first start?
I'm always, you know, the more you get reps, I mean, that's just the key to life is repetition. You know, the more you get reps and get familiar with the guys that you're playing with, the better you're going to be if you work at it and you work hard. So I just felt like overall just getting the reps with those guys and, you know, having Ethan in there, and we got a ton of reps after practice as well. I think it paid off. You know, we just got to keep pressing forward. You know, it's one game, you know, not to downplay it. We're happy with the win, but, you know, we get a bye week, get a chance to rest up and, you know, get ready for the, you know, second half of the season. It's going to be big.
You said it's not about you, but is there some validation, though, in being able to go out and play the way you did today and put up those kind of numbers?
I mean, in the words of the great Kevin Durant, man, you guys know who I am. You know, I show you guys every day, man. You see me throw the ball. I mean, I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything like that, but I've done it for a long time. And, you know, you can.
In the words of the great Kevin Durant, I am mad at Geno. So there you have it. What I like about Geno Smith, a couple of things. One is that, you know, he takes responsibility and owns up to, you know, his mistakes, but also team player and giving credit where credit is due. I talked a little bit about Russell Wilson, and so I just kind of looked up and yeah, what I thought. Right now, the timetable is still a little bit uncertain for his return. You know, he definitely is going to be required to miss at least 2 more weeks before he's eligible to return from injured reserve. And you know, Pete Carroll, you know, said he was making progress. His recovery, you know, is coming along really well. And so we'll see what happens. It's been, you know, more than a couple of weeks, you know, since the operation, but they're still, you know, not definite on a return. So you're looking at least, you know, a couple more weeks. But you know, one of the things I think is important is that now you have a team who going into their bye week and basically at midseason, you know, eight games, 8 of the 17. So you know, 9 coming back, but you know, gives you a week, and they're not real beat up. Gives you a week to rest the body, and that, you know, once the season starts, I mean, that's I can't tell you how critical that is, and that guys have the opportunity to rest their bodies. You know, again, you work on the reps in practice and what have you. You don't need to be hitting and doing all that in practice. You're going through the reps, getting your timing down, and hopefully healthy as you go into each Sunday or, you know, Monday or Thursday, whatever the case may be. So that's really important. The second thing I think is going into a bye week like this with a victory is huge. And I don't care what anyone says, even at every level, but even at the professional level, and just going in and believing in yourself and having some momentum makes all the difference in the world. And that's, you know, critical for this team. And so, you know, as they come out of this bye week, you know, you got a couple more weeks, and Geno Smith, you know, again, is starting to get his stride. I mean, what you have to remember is Geno Smith is a really, really good athlete, number one. And now at 31, you know, has been in the NFL, you know, multiple seasons, and has an understanding, you know, of the game. Now he doesn't have the extensive game action, you know, as if he was a starting quarterback all of those years. But I mean, he knows the game, knows his offense. And so I think a very capable guy. And I got to admit, as I was seeing in the news, you know, a couple of weeks ago that there was potentially talks with Cam Newton. I was like, oh, you know, that sounds that sounds pretty good. You know, but to bring a new guy in, new system, all that, and regardless of how talented he is, and especially, you know, Geno Smith holding it down. And again, granted, I understand this was, you know, against a 1-5 team in Jacksonville, now 1-6, but you know, still an impressive, you know, impressive win, you know, for him in particular, for the Seahawks overall. And you know, pretty balanced throughout the game. You know, Seahawks as far as scoring, you know, really balanced. But again, I like, you know, the balance I saw from the Seahawks offensively: 160, you know, in the air, 69 on the ground. And you know, again, they've got to improve on the third down efficiency. Only 3 of 10. You know, really good stat here. You know, 1-1. Their only attempt on fourth down, and you know, they were successful. Did allow 3 sacks, only got 1. That's an area that has to continue to improve if this team is going to make some noise, you know, into the season. You know, they've got a lot of football left to be played, and so don't count this team out. Hey, real quickly before we leave, I want to Quandre Diggs, real quickly. We're going to listen to a sound, but I just want to, you know, congratulate him. He said basically, you know, with his interception, it's his 3rd interception of the game. He became the only player in the NFL to have at least 3 interceptions in the past 5 seasons. He had 3 in 2017, 18, 19. Last year, 2020, had 5, and this was his 3rd. And he you know, again, the only player in the NFL. And so that says a little something about him. I mean, pretty consistent and having a nose for the football. So we're going to listen to a cut from him. It's about 4 minutes, but just want to hear from him, and then we'll come back out and close out the show. Dan, you go ahead and play that cut from Quandre Diggs.
Could you take us through that interception?
Film study, knowing Bev, knowing Shotty, knowing that they were going to try me. I mean, I'm an aggressive player, so teams going to try. You see New Orleans tried the same thing last week twice. And just to let you know, Corbin, I read your little deal last week. I didn't play that wrong in the post, so you should up that grade. Just film study, knowing that, the Rams beat me on that last week. I mean, the Rams beat me on that last year with Cooper Kupp. And just kind of knowing that speed in the slot, knowing Tavon, knowing that, Bev and Shotty, they've been on the other side of seeing me at practice and knowing how aggressive I am to run fits and things like that. So kind of slowed myself down a little bit this year and just know that, teams are going to try that type of play. And people can say he threw it to me, but I actually jumped the route. And, that's the IQ that I play with. So it looked like he threw it right to me, but I actually jumped the route.
I was going to say, sometimes your interceptions might look like, oh, that's easy, they threw it up. But how often is that a case of?
It's a lot. A few of them last year, I wasn't even supposed to be over there. And it looked like the quarterback threw it to me, but I just ran to kind of knowing where he was going. So I think that's the IQ part that, people don't see. That's just my game.
Beating the quarterback there, you stayed behind the receiver until you threw it, then you cut right in front of him.
I wouldn't say baiting him. I knew the route was coming. They tried to hit me with a dig and a 7 earlier in the game with Marvin, and I played that. And so I knew coming back that their next shot play, they were going to try to cross my face. So just getting comfortable and being a safety now. It's only my 4th year playing safety, really. So I think a lot of people forget that. I haven't been doing this my whole career. I've been a nickel for 3 years in my career and then moved to safety. So I think I'm doing pretty well at the position.
The whole secondary seems to have taken a jump here the last month or so. What do you think what do you attribute that to?
I think guys just getting comfortable with who they are. We knowing our assignments and knowing what we got to do. I think that's what it is. I know a lot of people say, well, they haven't played, blah, blah, blah. But, I guess people forget what we did to the Rams the first half, So I just let people talk, I've been just quiet and just enjoying life and just knowing we're going to turn this thing around.
I imagine you're aware by now that you're the only, defensive player in the NFL with at least 3 interceptions in the last 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I should ask you, are you aware of that, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. We got a great media team, and they kind of piqued my interest 2 weeks ago when they told me. And for me, it was great accomplishment. Something that I wanted to get before the bye week, just so I can go into this bye week and chill and relax and hang out with my daughter. And hopefully I can get to Astroworld next week and see Travis Scott perform. And so, it's a blessing. Give all glory to God as always. And it's dope that I can just put on for my family and got something that I can brag on to my older brother because my hand's way better than his.
What are you going to do with that ball?
You say what?
What are you going to do with the football?
We're going to get it painted up. But until now, I'm going to hold on to it. Get it painted up, put the accomplishment on the ball. And that'll be something that I'll keep. I keep every interception ball, every turnover that I get. So I keep those balls and I get certain ones painted up. So, this is number 17. So hopefully I get 3 more to get to 20 and I'll get that one painted up too.
When you say painted up, what does that mean?
Just get it painted. You can get it painted, a certain part of it. And my equipment staff, they take care of it, get it painted, put, Quandre Diggs, interception number 17. Only player in the NFL the last 5 years had 3+ interceptions. So that's what it is. Just a little memorabilia.
Do you think the Seahawks front office and the decision makers know that, realize that?
Hey, man, I just do what I do, man. That's not up to me, I play my game. I go out there and, me and my agent, we let them handle it. And I just stay back, play football and, take care of my family.
You told us in the summer you thought that they would take care of you.
And that is Quandre Diggs. and just a little bit of his post game. Again, congratulations to him, the only player in the NFL with at least 3 interceptions in each of the last 5 seasons, and he's still got a lot of football left to play this year. Hey, as we wrap up, I just want to remind you again, tune in to Rainier Avenue Radio this weekend, Friday night at Memorial Stadium. We're going to bring you live Metro League football action, Auburn and O'Day, as we go into the district playoffs. That game's at 5 o'clock, and make sure to tune in on our station, Rainier Avenue Radio, either Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, and you can see the stream of the game. And then Saturday, bring you a doubleheader, 2 o'clock from Memorial Stadium, Ferndale and Garfield, followed by Snohomish and Rainier Beach. That wraps it up for me right here on Rainier Avenue Radio, Monday Night Sports. Don't go anywhere, because Lid Line is next right here for Daniel B. I'm Dupe. Until next week, peace and God bless.
We don't need to escalate.
Rainier